So, Ole Miss wins 10-2 last night against ULM. 10 runs, 9 hits. Gave up 2 runs, a run in the first, a run in the fifth. That was it. Gave up 8 hits. Normally when I give you a line score, though, there's a third category I give you. Did not, intentionally right there. Because Ole Miss did not make an error in the game last night. So, Borky, if we rewind to the conversation on Monday, it was, this Ole Miss offense is good. However you slice it, they're good. They're proven. They're returning. They're names you know. They've proven it against good pitching. They've proven it against bad pitching. It's just a good lineup, and they're going to continue to be good. Doesn't mean they won't have a slump. Doesn't mean they won't run into a buzzsaw on the mound at some point along the way, but it's a good offense. We know that. We thought it was going to be a good defense, and yet they made 11 errors through the first 6 games.
And they were 4 of those games were shortened, so it was only like 45 innings of baseball where they committed those 11 errors. Yeah,
it was not good. They were fielding in the 930s. But last night, and we asked Mike Bianco about it on Monday. He said, look, it's one of 2 things. We're either not very good defensively or we're not very focused defensively. And because I think we're a good baseball team, and I've told you guys as much, I'm going to assume that we're not very focused mentally on the defensive side of things, and hopefully we can get that squared away. So they have an error-free game last night, which kind of shows you what they're capable of, right? They're not going to play error-free baseball for the rest of the season. Obviously, it's part of the game. Everybody makes errors. But you don't need to be making 4 and 5 a game, or 2 and 3 a game, or 2 and 3 in an inning. You got to get away from that. May have cleaned that up a little bit. And then on the mound last night, and Borky, I was not able to watch this. I know you watched the majority of it. You think Ole Miss got its first dominating pitching performance of the season?
I do, and if you look at the stat line, it doesn't just jump off the page at you. So it was 4 complete, struck out 9, had 1 walk, and that walk did lead to a run. And the second run that he is credited was actually a cheap little ground ball single in his last inning. And then Mike Bianco took him out of the game, and the guy behind him gave up a couple of hits that led to that run. And I'd be willing to bet, I don't know if Mike talked about it after the game or not, I'd be willing to bet he took him out early because he intends on using him this weekend and didn't need to throw anymore. But this is what I was talking about on Monday.
Hunter Elliott was the starting pitcher.
Freshman from Tupelo. Hunter Elliott, this was and it's very early, I understand that. But this was the first start that Ole Miss has gotten where the pitcher looked overpowering. It looked like their opponent, which is a lesser one, but that's all they've played this year, didn't know what to do when he was pitching to them. They looked overmatched. They looked overpowered. He threw multiple pitches for strikes. He was locating his fastball, which had good velocity. His breaking pitch was sharp. I mean, wearing the same jersey as Doug Nikhazy, he's got hair flowing out of the back of his hat like Doug Nikhazy, and pitches like him. Now, drawing those comparisons for a freshman after 1 start is unfair to the kid, but I can see why people immediately went there beyond just he's got long hair and literally the same jersey on, throwing from the left side. He pitched like him.
Sat low 90s, pretty good breaking ball.
And he was electric. That was electric stuff. And that's the first start that you've gotten from Ole Miss this year where you had that. And remember, this is his 3rd appearance. After Derek Diamond came out of the game against VCU, Diamond pitched 5 innings, struck out 2. Elliott pitches 2 innings, strikes out 3. So it's not like this is some one-off. He's had electric stuff even in the cold against VCU last weekend. This is what I was talking about that they were missing, is somebody that looks overpowering. And last night, that was overpowering. That was dominance. And you haven't seen that. And I wonder if, maybe, I don't know if it's a struggle or whatever happens this weekend or next weekend, that you don't see him in a weekend spot. Because that's electric stuff. And you haven't seen that yet this year from a starter.
You might. Of course, probably losing a game would factor into, we're going to make a change on the weekend, because they haven't done that yet. Now, so far, it's been all the right buttons being pressed. Hey, Dad, you know what a good formula to win a baseball game is?
Good pitching and good defense?
Well, yes, I will accept that answer. I was going a little more specific. Striking out 17 and only walking 3 while your opponent strikes out 3 and walks 13.
That will win most games.
It would have to be an anomaly to not win that game if those two things are true.
You would need to have about 6 errors to lose. At that
Oy. That was the case, though. 3 strikeouts by ULM as a staff, 13 walks. They didn't hit any batters, so that was good. No freebies there. Meanwhile, Ole Miss pitchers struck out 17. 9 strikeouts for Hunter Elliott, the starter. Riley Maddox in relief had 1. Matt Parento didn't pitch very well. Walked a couple of guys, faced 3 batters. He couldn't find the strike zone. And then Jack Doherty comes in at the end, and he pitches the final 3 innings and picks up a save because of the length of his outing and strikes out 7 and does not walk a batter. So pretty good stuff there from Jack Doherty.
Yeah, and that's the next layer. I was talking to somebody about this morning. You know, what do you do? Because the weekend pitchers have not been bad, like you said. I mean, what can you do? Derek Diamond on Friday only struck out 2, but he didn't give up a run in 5 innings. So what do you do with that? He's not giving up runs. You can't move him. You can't bench him. He's doing exactly what you asked.
He's been there.
Right.
And that matters.
But somebody asked me about Doherty. And for some reason, I would like them to move Elliott or give Elliott a weekend look because of the stuff that I saw last night was electric. But so was Doherty's. But for some reason, I feel like you should keep Doherty as your bullpen option, your closer, as opposed to giving him a weekend shot first. I don't know. I wish I could tell you why I feel that way. But I think Doherty's role is perfect for him, and his stuff is elite. He's really good for a young pitcher. I don't know why I feel that way, but I think keep him in his role, and if things go wrong this weekend or next, give Elliott a shot on the weekend. I don't know why I feel that way, though.
Remember, Jack Doherty was on his way to redshirting last year, and they needed him and called him out of redshirtville and said, hey, we need you to start a midweek game or at relief pitch and then start a midweek game, and he was good and ended up being a factor down the stretch for Ole Miss. There's one other story, I think, that is emerging for this Ole Miss team. So a year ago, we watched T.J. McCants play baseball. We're like, oh, there are a lot of tools there. Freshman can swing it. He didn't think about power. Just thought he could hit. And he was making the transition from shortstop for his entire life to the outfield. And it probably shaded the way you looked at him because he was learning how to play in the outfield in real time as we were watching him as a true freshman in the SEC. Never done it in his life. Hey, kid, go play outfield. And he took some bad routes. And there wasn't great arm strength. But it's almost like when you've got a guy that's really, really talented and really, really athletic, if you have him stick with something, he gets better at it. And not only has T.J. McCants been better defensively, he started all 7 games for Ole Miss and has gone 10 for 19 to start the season. That's a .526 average with a double, a home run, 7 runs batted in. He's slugging .737. He has walked 5 times. He has only struck out once, and he is 4 for 4 in stolen bases. Those are all SEC numbers. Sample size, I know. He's not going to hit 500 for the year. That's what I'm talking about. Probably not going to be perfect on the base paths. But that's a really good start to the season for T.J. McCants. And it shows you why he's got to be in the lineup every day.
Yeah.
Why he's either in center field or in right field every single day. And the job that Calvin Harris has done, filling in for Dunhurst in his absence. He's played in 6 games with 5 starts, and he's hitting .600. Pretty good stuff there as well.
Yeah, Death Taxes and Mike Bianco having a catcher room, if you will, that is stocked with high level.